Yo, still bills, what's the deal, man? Y'all know how the story go. Just dropped my baby off at daycare, my son at school, and I'm heading to the plantation. But peep game, man, I ain't got an opportunity to talk about it yet, so we gonna rap about it right now, man. Canelo versus Bivol, man. First off, we want to say shout out to Dimitri Bivol. People was perceiving this as an upset. If you saw my video, that's not how I felt about it, man. I thought that it was going to be a stylistic nightmare for Canelo Alvarez because of how Sergey Kovalev was able to control Canelo with the straight shots. And that's Bivol's bread and butter. He operates behind the straight shots, and he fights a lot more on the balls of his feet than the Sergey Kovalev. Sergey Kovalev is at least a nigga who's trying to get in and close distance. Not to the point where he's in the clinch and right up on up in your chest, but just right around about that sweet spot between mid distance to to long distance. Man, Bivol is a dude who likes to fight at long range, and I figured that was going to be an issue for Canelo. He doesn't have the fastest feet, and not to mention Kovalev was able to have that amount of success with all of those barriers placed in front of him. They pretty much ensured that Canelo was going to win that fight without filling out the scorecards before the fight. So I was honest enough to admit that. And that's what happened, man. So nonetheless, God damn, I can't get to the fucking. Nonetheless, shout out to Canelo Alvarez, man. Oh my God. Damn it, I'm gonna have to go all the way around now. Shout out to Canelo Alvarez for doing what it is that great fighters do. Doing what great fighters do. He moved, he challenged himself. He moved up in weight, and he came up short. But even with him coming up short, he was never hurt. And this is coming from a dude with multiple knockouts, man. I think he has over a 50% KO ratio. I could be wrong, but I think he does. I don't know his knockouts, but I know he has 20 fights. People get fucked up. They look at the 20 fights. Vasyl Lomachenko is a multi-weight division world champion with 20. Does he even have 20 fights? So it's, when you come from an extensive amateur background, man, you get that, you get boosted up through the rankings a lot faster because you're ready to deal with those. It ain't like you just have 50 amateur bouts and then you transition into the pros. No, this is a seasoned amateur. He's been doing it since he was 6 years old, man. But he dared to be great. He moved up. He challenged himself, and that's what it was, man. He came up short. Now, early on in the fight, it was a lot of swing rounds in there, man. I think people are being real dishonest when they're talking about 9-3 and 10-2. Those early rounds were swing rounds. At least the first 5 rounds were all swing rounds. Those rounds could have went either way because early on Canelo came out pressing the action and he backed Bivol up. But that's alarming in itself. Not alarming, but that's a testament to who Canelo is, because early on in the fight he was the one pressing the action when both of their energy reserves were at their peak. He was the one backing up Bivol. That's a testament to who he is. Dig, and how the power and the skill set is there to make you uncomfortably back up. It was there, and the biggest takeaway from it was him coming out throwing out hard shots. He shouldn't have been loading up as much as he was loading up, because what he did, he moved up properly with all of his fight. He didn't just dive in the deep end when it was time to fight Golovkin. No, he went that Canelo weight, and then he went and fought Chavez Jr. Now it's time to go holler at Golovkin and Jacobs. He didn't just dive right into Callum Smith. He went and he fought Rocky Fielding. So he did the right thing in those 2 divisions, man. It's just with him, he wanted to challenge himself. I don't know if it was arrogance or what, but he felt, he wanted to challenge himself and jump right up and fight the top dog in the division. And it was, I don't want to say it was a mistake. He challenged himself. You dig? You try, you fail. It is what it is. But he jumped up the rankings in a smarter capacity in the lower weights. But early on in the fight, he's coming out, he's winging, you know, he's throwing hard right hands. And he's tapping the body a lot easier. You know, he's finding the body a lot easier in this fight. The uppercut is finding a home. The jab is there. The hook over the guard, you know, around the guard is there. Everything is there for him. He's having success early on. He's most definitely having success early on. But around about the mid-range, like when Bivol starts to slightly open up with the jab, you start to see, all right, it takes energy out of you when you get stolen on. That shit takes energy from you. It depletes your energy reserves. When a nigga bigger than you hits you, clips you, it gasses you. It gasses the fuck out of you. You dig? And that's what happened. Bivol started opening up around about the middle rounds, and he opened up like, you know, it was a slow build up. It was a slow build up. Like, he went out of his way to, I'm not gonna give you everything right off the rip. I'm gonna gradually open up and expose you to more shit, so you're gonna be that much more befuddled when I start doing it. So he's coming out with the jab. He's snapping the jab. He's throwing the two behind the jab. You know, all of his combinations are straight shots. Like I said, they're straight arm punches. The right, the 1, the 2, the 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You dig? And it's starting to back Canelo up into the rope around about the mid rounds, where you see Canelo was getting a little bit like, all right, man, this may be a little bit more than I may have bit off a little bit more than I can chew. And you see Canelo lays on the rope trying to set a trap, and he invites him in. Come on. And you know, shout out to Dimitri Bivol's IQ, because he's like, no. Canelo was one of the best to ever do it off the rope. He's one of the best, and you're not about to walk me into no shot. If I go and I attack you on the rope, it's going to be of my own recognizance, and not when you tell me to do so. I'll do it when I want to do it. So that way you're not necessarily expecting it. You dig? You're not about to walk me into a trap. And that's your comfort zone. You're comfortable off the rope. So no, get your ass off that rope and get back mid-ring. And let's throw him like 2G. You know what I'm saying? And Canelo ain't had no other choice but to comply, because that's when the fight started going out of his favor. But by like the mid to late rounds, that's when you started to see Bivol begin to counter. And not just slip and, you know, pull back and counter the 1-2-1. No. He's doing catch and shoot counters. So now he's punishing Canelo every time. Because Canelo, one thing that he likes to do is he likes to bash your arms. He likes to just pound on your arms to break your guard down. And, you know, it bore good fruit. He has a bruise on his arm from that fight. Like, his arm, I know his arm is still fucked up off of that shit. But he started punishing for that. Every time I catch a shot, I'm shooting it back. Every time I catch a shot, I'm shooting it back. And that's what he did. Canelo eventually abandoned the body attack, because he would tap the body and he'd hook him over the top. So he just really put on an incredible boxing exhibition, man. Like it was really a good performance from Dimitri Bivol. Shout out to him. That's how you fight. You dig what I'm saying? Like, he went in there, he did the damn thing. He fought a smart fight, an intelligent fight, and came out victorious. Salute to him. That's how you do the damn thing. And with all that being said, like, Canelo didn't go in there and get his ass beat. No, it's equivalent to how Manny looked against Floyd. But you could argue Canelo won more rounds than Manny did against Floyd. He wasn't all busted up. His nose ain't broke. His lip ain't busted. His eye ain't black and cut. No. He went in there and he just got outclassed by the bigger man. You did. Canelo was trying his best to land, you know, in that sweet spot. He could never find it. Bivol's guard was tight, and he just could. After a while, when you run, you know, when you blow through your energy reserves, you're not going to be able to back him up as efficiently as you was early on. Those shots wasn't as effective as they were early on, because he just, you know, he ran out of energy for throwing them those big right hands, trying to load up on everything. You can't do that when you move up into the higher divisions, man. That works at 68, but you do certain shit like that when you're uncomfortable. you know, when you're uncomfortable, you do a lot of shit that you normally wouldn't do. You're like, yo, man, I need to do something to gain this dude's respect. I knew, like, when Manny came out, as aggressive as he was against Ugas, instead of being the methodical fighter that he is, I knew for a fact, yeah, he's trying to, he knows he knows this is the end right here. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to gain this dude's respect a little too early, and he just doesn't have it in him to, you know what I'm saying, methodically break this dude down. I knew at that moment in the first round it was a wrap. Now Canelo comes out like that. Actually, he doesn't, man. He's a lot less active in the first round. He's a lot less active. He was a lot less active against Caleb Plant. And he just kind of just walked through him and everything, and just, you know, got his patterns down. Let me study him a little bit. He didn't do that. He came out really trying to gain Dimitri Bivol's respect, and it eventually led to his detriment. Dude was never hurt. You dig? His energy was zapped. But one thing about him is he'll blow his offensive load, but not his defensive load. He'll still retain enough energy to where he can defend himself. Because he was getting clipped a lot, but, you know, a lot of the shots was getting rolled and ride. You know, he was riding with a lot of those shots and rolling them. But he just got outclassed. So I think you need to go back to 68 and wash them niggas up, man. And speaking of 68, man, we gotta. Yo, I don't know what the fuck is going on with. I don't know. Everybody is super hyped, like as if this is a win for a Charlo or a Benavidez or a Caleb Plant. What the fuck is up with Caleb Plant? How do you even find it? How do you even feel comfortable going on Twitter saying the shit that you were saying? You can try to dress it up however way you want to, fam. The thing is this. You were seeking validation from that man in the mid-rounds. I don't give a fuck how else you put it. Or it could have just been, let me see if, you know, let me try and fancy on this dude's heart a little bit so he won't continue to beat the shit out of me like he's been doing. Like, why are you on Twitter talking greasy, bro? Like, why? Why are you on Twitter talking greasy? Who the fuck are you, bro? Like, you lost. Not even lost. You got knocked out. You got your ass beat. Canelo did to you what Bivol couldn't do to him. Canelo never touched the ground. You touched the ground twice for the first time in your career. That shows you how outclassed you were. Bivol commanded the middle of the ring. You never did. This isn't like I just think it's real audacious for you to sit up here and come up here and try to gloat as if you accomplished something because Canelo lost to Bivol. And what the fuck is up with an Oscar? Like, what is wrong with you niggas, man? You golden boy. Like, y'all dudes are some weirdos. You and Ryan Garcia, bro. What, bro? Oscar. What the fuck does Canelo losing have to do with him coming back to the best promoter in the business? Like, is this a clap at Eddie Hearn? For him to go back, he has the stains on his resume and his jacket because of you. The rehydration clause is Canelo way. He has all that because of you. The franchise, that shit is because of you. He's still fighting to get all that shit removed off his jacket. So what the fuck would make him think that he should come back to you? He's solidified enough to where he doesn't need a promoter. He goes to Eddie Hearn at will. He doesn't need a golden boy. You know what I'm saying? And with all the bullshit you got going on, I wouldn't want to be attached to that no way. And Ryan Garcia, dude, what the fuck is wrong? You don't need to be saying shit, honestly, man. Because the minute a nigga really clap at you, you gonna run back into your closet crying again. You gonna walk into a gym, bro. You walked in the gym and started crying. Who the fuck are you to sit here and talk shit after? Like, bro, this is a photo vision world champion. You are not that. You haven't even called a time. You don't even want to fight Devin Haney. And you talking slick. You don't want no drama with Devin Haney. And you was his mandatory. I don't know what the fuck type time you on, man. And with your last bout, you couldn't even get dude out. You don't think your stock dropped off of that last fight? People get shit fucked up the minute they get out of the fucking you know, they get out of a certain place of being, you know, a certain place of critique, y'all can just start popping off. Teofimo Lopez running to Twitter after fucking Josh Taylor not lost, but had a controversial win over Jack Catterall. You posting dinner plates and forks and knives and shit like you didn't just come off of a horrific performance against Cambosos. Jesus, dude, you motherfuckers is a trip. And now that finally brings me to oh my God, oh my Lord, man, being on social media in these spaces, like I said before, you always gonna have something to talk about, man. These niggas is on here acting like, I'm like, yo, bro, oh my God, this shit is astonishing how stupid y'all are. I'm saying all you gotta do is punch with Canelo and no, listen, everybody ain't Bivol. Everybody ain't Bivol. The biggest takeaway from this fight with Canelo and Bivol was bigger than Canelo. Canelo didn't go in there looking to break him down. He went in there looking to gain his respect, hoping to possibly get him out. That was the wrong game plan. That was the wrong game plan. Instead of going in there looking to scoring shots, he went in there trying to get a knockout. Nah. So I'm seeing from I was arguing with the homies for a slight second that they said Benavidez would beat Canelo, and now it's all these, oh man, you ducked a cherry pick gone wrong. Like, anybody who's saying that this is a cherry pick, y'all are the biggest fanboys and don't know what the fuck y'all are talking about. That's just the dumbest statement in the world. Bivol as a champion at 75 has a better resume in 20 fights than any of the 3 fighters that they are saying that he ducked. There's similarities with those 3 fighters and Bivol. Charlo with his catch and shoot counter punching. Bivol clearly has a really good catch and shoot counter game, but the difference is Bivol is a lot more compact with his guard is tighter. His guard is tighter. There wasn't shots slipping through the guard, and the punches that was landing on him, it didn't have as big of an effect on him. We've never seen Charlo fight past 160 pounds. So you don't know how he's going to compete at 168 if he was to fight a Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez's power is proven at 168 pounds. So you got Charlo, who's a really good, his catch and shoot counter game is real good. Is he going to be poised enough to take that type of power? When you start getting hit a lot, because Charlo doesn't have a good defense. That man has been clipped plenty of times. Juan Montiel was flying that nigga's head. Sergey Derevyanchenko was flying that man's head. Matt Korobov, all this is at 160 pounds from lesser fighters, not champions. Lesser fighters. Charlo was getting his head flown all over the place, man. Off of the, like, what are we talking about here? Hey, nigga was listening to hip hop. You dig? Can your guards withstand the power of a Canelo at 168 pounds? I'm not so sure. Can you keep your head off center line? I haven't seen it yet. He's going to poke holes all through that guard on Charlo. So by the time you're in a position where you have his punch pattern down, you're not going to be able to get it down. By the time you even think you have something, you're going to fuck around and be hurt because you've been hurt by lesser opposition in a smaller weight class. Demetrius Andrade has the feet of a Bivol, slightly, as far as him knowing how to maintain distance a lot better. But Bivol is a lot more compact on his punches, and he distributes his weight better than Demetrius Andrade. Demetrius Andrade will open up with a wide lead right hook to the point where he's falling off balance at close quarters. At close quarters. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, this is it's miraculous how people can just interject and bring some sort of, it's bullshit anecdotes. That's all that is. It's bullshit anecdotes. It's bullshit. Andre has never been in there with another champion. I really need people to understand how critical that is to his resume. I need people to get that. Andre has good defense and he has good feet. He opens up too wide though. Way too wide. And he's not going to be able to stay away from Canelo. He couldn't stay away from fucking Vanes Martirosyan or fucking Liam Williams. They eventually caught up to him. David Benavidez, the only similarity between him and Bivol is that they're tall. Benavidez doesn't work behind his straight shots, man. He likes to be in your chest and walk you down. He likes getting hit. And his guard isn't as tight as he has been dropped before. He has been dropped. His last fight with Kyron Davis, when Kyron Davis was in there, he was gassed when he stopped Kyron Davis. He was gassed going in there trying to off that man. He was gassed. I can't believe, like, what are we talking about here? He was gassed, bro. Like he was done. Had the ref not throwing that towel, Lord knows what would have happened. He was gassed. I don't get it with y'all, man. I don't get it with y'all. The minute somebody loses, here y'all come up, and it's not that y'all don't study and really unpack the fight. Y'all just say he lost, and he lost to a bigger man, so he can't fuck with David Benavidez. Or he lost somebody with feet, so he can't fuck with Demetrius Andre. And completely disregard the fact that he's 2 divisions north of a Demetrius Andre. Completely disregard the fact that Benavidez was offered, it was cool, we'll make you better be as mandatory, and he didn't want to take that shit. Y'all dudes is a trip, man. And it's oh my God. It's really aggravating trying to talk to some of you dudes, because it's just, you know, y'all happy that he lost, whatever. I get it. It happens, because if a fighter that I'm not too fond of loses, I'm dragging too. So I'm not in my feelings that that niggas is dragging, no, but it's, you know, how illogical a lot of this shit is. And it's very much so illogical. So, yeah, shout out to Canelo Alvarez. Congrats to Dimitri Bivol. If you drop down to 168, I'm not so sure how you do. But what I personally would like, I think Canelo should really focus on just, you know, get them other cats out the way. And if you feel that strongly about moving up to 175 pounds, if you're going to jump up and, you know, chop at the heels of the lesser opposition. I'm not gonna say you don't belong at 75 pounds. I said it at first, but now, you know, I'll renege on that and say I'll be willing to reconsider it. But chop at the heels of a Lyndon Castillo, because even, you know, Lyndon Castillo is a dude. You know, he went in there and he got crashed by Callum Smith in 2 rounds, and you brutalized that man, and Bivol couldn't even stop Castillo. That gives me some sort of hope that you could possibly do what it is that you need to do. You just fought a dude who just historically gives you the biggest headaches and is bigger than you. So if you're gonna do that, chop at the, you know, the bottom 15 and bottom 20. But shout out to you and congratulations to Bivol, man. I'm going to work to get this shit over with, man. Y'all niggas be easy. Let me know what y'all think. Deuces.